Hello, you're watching Extra Time, the sports chat show on Big Centre TV with me, Gary James, and guests, Chief Executive of Birmingham City Ladies Football Team, Steve Shipway, owner of Hollywood Monster, who are the team's main sponsor, Tim Andrews, hello, and the team's general manager, Kirsty Hulland. Welcome to you all. Before we talk women's football, if you have any suggestions for guests you'd like to see on the show, or we're not talking about your sport, then please get in touch. You can email extraTime@bigcentre.tv. Right, let's kick off the first half. Ladies football. Started, believe it or not, until I did the research, didn't know this and wouldn't have believed it, back in the 19th century. A long time ago. I don't think any of us were around then.
The biggest thing was Dick Kerr's Ladies in the 20s, 1920s, when Dick Kerr's Ladies came in, and I think the women were replacing the men who were gone to war and so on, and they were pulling crowds of 50, 60,000. Yeah. But the FA wouldn't touch them, didn't want to know it was happening, and just wouldn't let them play on grounds afterwards.
And that's when it all first really, excuse the pun, kicked off.
Yeah, it did. That started it, but it fell into decline just after that because the FA wouldn't accept it. They wouldn't accept the women playing on men's grounds and that. So women's football just sort of died in the 30s, I suppose, and so on, and didn't really come back again till probably around the 60s, beginning of the 60s, something like that, when clubs started up at a lower level, as did Birmingham City at that time. Started as Bow Bells back in 1968. Nothing to do with me then. Played in the minor leagues and did well. And we've progressed in there from that. 15 years ago I started, and we were down in Midland Combination Leagues, Midland Leagues and so on. No kids team, well, 2 kids teams, bit, sort of half-hearted, half-soaked if you like. So myself, Marcus and Mickey Moore came in and decided we'd have a little go at these, like, and pulled in a few players, went and looked at youngsters. That's when we spotted Karen Carney and Eddie Aluko, Michelle Hickmat, Faye Cardin, all went on to play for England. I've got to say, for a few months we were a bit like dirty old men sitting watching little girls playing football. Like, we were a little bit worried we were going to get arrested at times, but and we've developed since then. But it was sort of 5 years ago when WSL started when it all really started to get to where we are now.
But just going back, it was one of those things that it's still sort of not known whether the FA back in the early days, because the women were actually getting these 50,000 crowds, that they pulled the plug and said, "You're not playing on our members' pitches. Yeah. Go and play in the park somewhere." And I think it was going back to Birmingham's ladies team. It was a group of fans, I think, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Bow Bells, apparently. I said before my time, we're literally, hence the name of Bow Bells. It's the old Bow Brummie thing and so on and so forth. So yeah, they were Birmingham City fans who formed a side and played in the parks and so on. Yeah. Did well, actually. They won quite a lot of local trophies. If you go back on
I think worldwide, if I'm right in saying, there's something like about 175 countries that have women's football now, something like that.
Don't know a figure on that, but yeah, I mean, you've got all the international competitions, so yeah, I mean, World Cups, you play World Cups, you play some strange countries, the same as the men do. So yeah, I would say it's active in most countries in the world where men's football is. Yeah.
And being general manager, Kirsty, did you start off playing football? Or?
I started playing football about 10 years ago as a left back, but it wasn't really for me. I was more the admin side. I loved behind the scenes, organising the events, but just to see how much women's football's grown in the last decades, phenomenal. I mean, Wembley in November last year with 45,000 attendance, you wouldn't have got that a few years ago, and it's phenomenal to see how the FA are so supportive nowadays as well. It's truly something.
And of course, the English Ladies FA formed in going back again to 1921, and the first competition was for a silver cup, which actually Stoke Ladies won. They beat Doncaster and Bentley 3-1.
There you go.
I don't know if Doncaster and Bentley's still going.
Unless they're now Doncaster Bells, I don't know. But no, I don't know.
Yeah. And so now, I mean, in the English league, then the English Ladies League, how many teams have we got?
Okay, in the Super League, the FA have taken control of women's football in this country for about 20 years, isn't it, Kirsty? Something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like 5 or 6 years, 5 years ago, started WSL, which is the Women's Super League. They started that with 8 clubs, and WSL 1 is still 8 clubs. It was the same 8. Everton got relegated last year and replaced by Sunderland. But they also last season started WSL 2, which is another 10 clubs. So you've now got 18 clubs playing in the top level of the pyramid, if you like, in WSL 1 and 2. And then it's regionalised below that. For the next 4 years, until 2017, there'll be nobody coming into WSL 1. It'll stay as 8 and 10. 8 and 10. Next year it goes to 8 and 11, then goes to 8 and 12. So at the end of 2017, there'll be 20 teams. Then you may see a bit of a restructuring, 210s or whatever. I don't know, but that's
And Tim, obviously you've been involved with Birmingham City Ladies for a number of seasons now. I think it's 4 or 5.
Yeah, this is our 5th starting. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. And with the Hollywood Monster from your company, what attracted you in the first place?
Well, I think it's a great question, quite poignant to the subject, really. We've been sponsors of Birmingham City men's team since 1992 was our first season where we got involved. And and being I'm a big fan myself, but at Birmingham City Football Club, and five years ago we was asked, that they sort of when they put their arm around the ladies team and decided to bring it within the club, asked me if I'd be interested in, because it's always been one of my passions, one of my goals to actually have Hollywood Monster on the front of Birmingham City football kit. And of course in the men's game it's, there's just leagues difference in terms of price, affordability. And so we've never been able to afford that. And I was offered the opportunity and I jumped at the chance myself personally. I tell this story quite regularly really. I took the idea back to my board, who are not all Birmingham City fans, and said I wanted to sponsor a ladies team. And this was 5 years ago. And I had some funny looks and sort of said,
"You must be mad."
Well, yeah,
literally,
yeah. But it was a big risk for us, a big financial risk as well at the time, and it was still stepping into the unknown for us. But I have to say, I mean, we've become sort of real big partners of the club. I don't just see ourselves as being a sponsor. It is affordable to us. It gives us, I think it's put Hollywood Monster on the map, or helped, sort of locally, and of course it carries the brand into areas that other sports don't. And I mean, the big appeal to me, really, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, and it's a strategy for our business, is to back ladies' sport in general. And quite frankly, it's because it's cheaper and more affordable. And I think the returns can be equally as good. And of course, we've been fortunate during that term where we've won the FA Cup. And I say we, there's a hint, I'm part of the family now. But we won the FA Cup, semi-final of the European Cup, second place in 3 of the years, I think, in the league, third last year, but 1 goal away from winning the league. So we've enjoyed and tasted lots of success. And of course, any sponsorship deal is always a risk. But I have to say, since our involvement, and of course we're not kicking the ball on the pitch, but since our involvement, we've been very fortunate to be part of that success, and long may it continue.
So it obviously works for you then, Tim, as a main sponsor.
Yeah, very much so, and we can't wait for the season to get started.
And we're going to be talking about that in part 2, and really looking forward to seeing it all start on Sunday. But just coming back to you, Steve. When ladies football started like 5 years ago, like Tim said, when he put it to the board, it was like, what? He must be mad. How has it grown as fast as you thought it would?
Faster. The first couple of years of WSL possibly was kind of on the target I thought we were going to be. And we were all involved as clubs. We were all involved 2 years before this in the research. The FA were quite good in that. They involved the clubs as they were then, and what could we do? The idea of a summer season came from the clubs, if you like, and so on. So the first 2 years, I think, went pretty much to plan. But it's kind of blown up now. And I guess my own little fear is, has it gone a little bit too quick in the last 2 years? We're going down the road at men's football, obviously, and it's the only way it's going to go forward. The big money clubs are coming in, like Man City are coming now with more money than we could even dream about, and Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, so on and so forth. So they will emerge as the people we've got to beat. So for us to stop in that top 4 is a fantastic achievement. We get fantastic support from Birmingham City, both financially and resource-wise, but we're not in the Manchester City mould and never will be.
Right.
And we kind of accept that. So I think, financially, it's not self-sufficient. We desperately need more attendances. The whole thing over the next 2 years has to be bums on seats, definitely, in every game, not just ours, but in every game. That will increase sponsorship and increase TV's pick-up and so on. But if you added all the income up, it doesn't cover the... And of course, as the big clubs are coming with big money, they're paying the players more money. So that gap gets wider and wider and wider.
So obviously, the likes of the team with Hollywood Monster and his sponsorship, and 2 or 3 of the other sponsors. I think you've got, is it USN?
USN, yeah, they sponsor all our health foods and supplements and so on. Jay Spooner, JSS Contracts, Jamie Spooner.
Yeah.
They're our main sort of tours it's gone through. We just pulled in technical services who are doing our Centre of Excellence next year. We're helping out with our Centre of Excellence. Because we have that right the way through the club from the first team down to 9-year-olds. And we have to fit in all sorts of criteria with the FA of the right sort of coaches, physios, which all costs money.
Yeah, yeah.
We get some FA funding. I mean, I can't knock the FA. They put the money where the mouth is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're off to freshen up our makeup and make sure the hair's done. Please join us after the break. But for now, it's half time on Extra Time. Welcome back. This is the second half of Extra Time. Makeup and hair sorted, as you can see. I'm Gary James with guest Steve Shipway, Chief Exec of Birmingham City Ladies, Tim Andrews, who's the owner of Hollywood Monster, the main sponsors of the team, and Kirsty Hulland, the ladies team General Manager. Before we talk more about the ladies team, the Blues ladies team, and what's coming up, let's join Colin Tatham, who has a chat to the Blues' new signing, Alex Windle, to find out her thoughts on coming up and joining the Blues.
I think it's a really positive move. Obviously, things like at Bristol didn't have a very good season last year, and then to come and Dave and Marcus gave me a massive opportunity. And as soon as I spoke with them, I'd seen what the club was about, things they said to me, meeting the girls is really, really positive, and I can't wait to get started.
Sounds like it was quite an easy decision for you.
Yeah, absolutely, it was really. As soon as I came and met them up here a couple of weeks back, everything they said was really, really good opportunity for me that I just didn't want to let go.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously it was a frustrating season for you last season because of injury, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really frustrating. The season before, so 2013, I had a really good year under Mark, and then new manager coming in, obviously everything changes, and then unfortunately got injured in pre-season last year, so February time. So that started the first half of the season for me, and then it was just difficult to get back in the team really. Didn't really get many chances, and it just wasn't meant to be this year.
Mm-hmm. And how is your fitness? How is the knee?
Yeah, it's really good now. Fine, everything's fine. It's all been good. It's been good for a good few months now, so I'm ready to get fit and get playing.
Obviously, we saw Birmingham last season. Great start in Europe, and at the very end, it was heartbreaking. I mean, what did you make of the season from the outside looking in?
I think it was really, really good. They had a really good season. They're really a big, like a team there. They're not a massive squad, but they're a really, really good bunch of girls. They work for each other, and that's exactly what I want to be part of. So to be able to push on from what they achieved last season would be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Describe yourself as a player, and you can be modest.
I can. That could be difficult. I'm quite versatile. I've played full-back, I've played centre-back for Bristol, I've played midfield, but I see myself as a midfielder. Bit of a box-to-box, bit of energy, bit of tenacity, bit of fight, so hopefully it should fit into the team here.
Yeah, Dave Parker was saying, you know, he mentioned your technical ability, but also your tenacity and your persona. Were those sort of qualities and things that you think will fit in here?
Yeah, absolutely. If you look how the girls play, they really have that in abundance. So like a lot of them, there's some really, really technically great players, and then a lot of them have got that tenacity and that fight. And I think bringing that together, we will have a good team and a good squad.
Mm-hmm. And one of the big things is the team spirit here. I mean, I guess you've already experienced that with your initiation. Just give us a little insight what happened again.
Yeah, it was on the pitch at the back. Obviously there's a couple of puddles, and normally they say, oh, your initiation, you're going to have to go sing, and I don't want to sing, but so we were warming up. Next thing you know, they got us in a huddle. See that puddle over there, you don't have to sing, but you have to cleanse them through the puddle. So I said, okay, I'd rather do that. So yeah, it was a wet and cold evening last week, but it was good fun. So.
And just looking ahead to the forthcoming season, what are the team's ambitions, and what are your ambitions?
Push on from last year. As a team perspective, definitely. They were very, very close to winning the league, and I think just as going full time now, the only thing that we can do to get better is win it. Got good cup runs, and you never know. And personally, just to play, enjoy it, and help the team get to where they should be.
Arguably, Birmingham surprised a few pundits last season. Do you think you can do the same again this season?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. That's what we are. We are underdogs, and we'll always be that. We'll never be the big teams like your Chelseas, your Arsenals, your Liverpools, but we'll be up there and we'll be fighting every single game to be the best we can.
That's Colin Tatham having a chat to the Blues ladies' new signing, Alex Windle. A great signing for you guys.
Yeah, she's one of two. We signed Alex, almost just after the end of last season from Bristol. We've also signed Frida Raisi, a young player from Arsenal, and we've maintained the rest of our squad, which is. And if you actually look at, we're the only club in the 8 in the WSL1 that's still got the same management staff that we started with, and you know, as a chairman, the chief exec, and so on. I think consistency is important. You know, people say to me, you know, you kept that, and why? Well, I'd say because we come second twice, third, fourth, won the FA Cup, second, semi-final. What we're going to change it for? But I think consistency is important. We saw it, as Alex mentioned, so close last year.
Yeah.
We've kept that squad and added a couple, so we've got to be confident.
Yeah. And coming to you, Kirsty, then, we heard Alex there, you know, being transferred. So are all the girls on the team, are they all sort of professionals now and are paid to play, or how does it work?
Yeah, I mean, they're all paid to play, and then we're going closer to a full-time model. They're training pretty much every day. If they're not training, they're in the gym doing strength and conditioning. So we're definitely going towards the full-time professional model. Yeah. The girls love it. It's the way we've got to go. We've got to keep up with the rest of the league, the likes of Man City, Arsenal, Everton, Bristol Academy, and so on. So.
And when it comes to transfers, is it just Dave's the manager, isn't he? Is it just Dave that will, you know, scout around, or has he got people out there on the ground that are looking?
Well, yes, we have a network of scouts, if you like, not actually working for the club, but people we know and you know, come back and do some work for us. But yeah, it's Dave. Predominantly, it's Dave that goes and finds these players, and you know, we're in the basement market, so he has to go and find the players where there's no fee involved and where they're not going to want the sort of money that we can't afford to pay. And he's done really, really well in that. You know, I mean, last year we signed Remy Allen about this time. What a signing that turned out to be, you know. Yeah.
Scoring in the UEFA Champions League against Arsenal on the debut.
Just like, and he's done really well in that, you know. And that's part and parcel of what your management team forward, isn't it? You know, It's not just what they do on the pitch; it's what they do within the game and so on. Yeah.
And as a sponsor, Tim, I mean, it's absolutely a dream, isn't it, for you as a sponsor to these other players wanting to come and play for Birmingham City Ladies?
Yeah, I think you know, outside looking in. I say outside looking in. I think, you know, you look at some of the other teams. You know, they've got a lot of household names, and the differences with Birmingham is that they all work for each other. And one thing that I've, you know, been very close to is actually seen the team spirit, and you know, and having the badge or our logo on the front of that shirt, you know, makes me quite proud, you know, to be part of something that's it really does enforce the importance of team spirit, you know, because they're a great bunch of girls.
And last weekend at St Andrews, a piece of history really for the club, where Karen Carney, she's had 100 caps for England, started playing I think when she was 17, 10 years on, she's still there, and she was inducted into the Birmingham City Hall of Fame.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 to Birmingham City for that, because it was their idea to do that, and we're really grateful for that. But the girl deserves every bit of recognition she's ever had. She's a blues fan, which is brilliant. She's a blues fan through and through, sort of thing. Like I said, we spotted she was about 10 or 11 years, I think, playing for Solihull. But what she's done since then has been absolutely amazing, and Birmingham City have done her proud in bringing her into that Hall of Fame. I think she deserves to be there.
What's important is that it's the first Birmingham City player to actually achieve 100 caps. You know, what a fantastic achievement is that?
Just
you
that
know,
itself.
You know, and she's still got a few more years to go. So,
and also the other first is, as I believe, is that she's the first on a man's match day. She's the first lady to be on the front cover of the programme.
Yeah, I think Birmingham really stepped up there. That they see us as one club, and there's that integration there, and you can't take that away. Hats off to them for doing that. It's fantastic.
And looking ahead, this coming Sunday, 22nd, the season kicks off. It's the WSL FA Cup.
Strange thing in women's football, we start with the FA Cup. The first game is FA Cup. The 8 WSL1 clubs come in at this round, and it's a round of 16. And would you believe we've drawn the team that won it last year? Like, you know, that's a good start, isn't it? If you've got to beat it.
It's only Liverpool, so.
Yeah, exactly. The other big thing is that the finals at Wembley this year. That's another massive.
Well, that's the first thing, isn't it? That was announced this week, wasn't it?
1st of August at Wembley. Yeah. Massive step forward for women's football. So of course, hey, we want to be at Wembley. It was a great day at Bristol, wasn't it, in 2012?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember much after 6 o'clock anyway, because I was hammered. But that's. But it was a fantastic day. Wembley would be a dream come true.
Yeah.
So, it all starts on Sunday.
And it's at Solihull Moors.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just up the road from the Blues' old training ground at Damson Lane all those years ago.
Yeah.
It's now just a field, I believe. Kirsty, still obviously tickets available? Are there a website or?
Yeah, they're not available on the website for this for the FA Cup match, but
Right.
they're all for the FAWSL. You can buy them on the gates.
Yeah.
It's £6 for an adult, £3 for a concession. So a little bit different than the men's prices.
Yeah, just a bit. Oh, you can afford to take
Oh,
the
it's
family, can't you? It's a great day
value,
out.
Great
great
day.
value as
Yeah.
well. Great value.
And for anybody that hasn't been to Solihull Moors, then it's a great pitch. It's a great sort of you get something to eat. I'm trying to call it a stadium, but it's you know they've got the clubhouse there and
Stadium, yeah.
the stadium, a mini stadium, and really good. And looking ahead, exciting season.
Yeah, well, I think as Alex indicated on it, you know, as I said, we've kept the same squad, we've added a couple of players. You've got to be confident. So yeah, it'll get harder. You know, as I said, the money's coming in, which makes it a little bit more difficult to compete. But hey, we're Birmingham City.
So we need to get some more bums on seats.
Absolutely.
And-
The biggest thing in the game is about attendance. You
Yeah.
need more and more people to come in and watch. And there's a lot of cynics, we know that. And there's still, you know, male cynics about women's football and so on and so on. We know that. It's getting less, but we're getting there. I'll throw the challenge out to you. Come and have a look.
Yeah.
Before you
Doing
say-
it.
And that
before you
12th,
criticise it,
12th man,
come and have a look.
Yeah.
you know, it
makes
is
all
so
the difference.
important. And, you know, and Solihull Moors is such a small, compact ground. The atmosphere, it can be great.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it is our plea for the people of Birmingham to come and support us.
Well, I'm going to be at Wembley on Sunday, but
okay.
but I have been and I do come down, and
don't
it is a
blame
great atmosphere. I'll vouch for that. But for now, I think the final whistle is about to blow. So many thanks to Tim Andrews, to Steve Shipway, and of course to Kirsty. And once again, if you'd like to get in touch and tell us about your sport, then please email extratime@bigcentre.tv. Bye bye.